The overweight person might not be singing yet, but the voice is getting ready after the Town drew 1-1 against Everton on Friday night, and results unfortunately didn't go the way we wanted them to on Saturday. To reflect on that match and the weekend as a whole, alongside me I've got the Lutonian journalist James Cunliffe and Town superfan Mark Crowther, and we'll look back on it all right after this intro.
Can you believe it? We are Premier League! Yes!
I love this town. I love this town. I love this town. You know what I love about this town is actually you. Everyone in it has got these massive souls.
We're Luton people, and that's what we care about.
Hello everyone, welcome along to another episode of the Luton Town Supporters Trust podcast, the most biased podcast anywhere on the internet.
Said one Everton fan. Actually, loads of them.
I mean, how could we possibly be so biased on a Luton podcast in a Luton reaction show about a Luton game of football? But that's the world that we're in. As I said before the intro, I've got the Lutonian journalist James Cunliffe with me, and Town fan Mark Crowther is back for both episodes this week as well. Gents, are we over Friday night yet?
Yeah, mate, just about. Yeah, I think we did a little post-match instant reaction, didn't we? Sort of got it out of the system a little bit, but you give a bit of separation and suddenly there's a little bit more hope again, isn't there? A little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that hope in a little while. As James said, Mark, we've kind of already given our sort of immediate reaction. We'll give a little bit fuller reaction. But what was your sort of overriding thoughts of Friday night?
I just think incredible atmosphere. We definitely brought the noise, and the team gave everything. They really did keep going till the end. We just couldn't get that second goal. It was just probably a night of frustration, but a night to be proud of again.
Yep, I wouldn't disagree with that. Before we get into the game, light show, yay, nay?
Nay, no. I think the noisy boys in the corner of the main stand made themselves perfectly loud and clear about what they thought about that, and that's far too Premier League for my liking.
It's far too modern football, and we're very much no to modern football with regards to that. Yay, nay?
Definitely a nay.
Yeah.
I wondered if it was a build-up to something bigger on the way, and then it didn't happen.
Well, my concern was, that we'd run out of 50p's in the metre or something, and they wouldn't go back on again. And I mean, if you're going to do that, when Calvert-Lewin steps up for the penalty, get the old flashing lights going. I mean, at least make some use of the thing, But yeah, no, I think that's a general consensus of not for us. But if someone out there did enjoy it, then fair play to you. It might have more significance maybe in December when it is actually dark, as opposed to in May when it wasn't really very dark at the time that it happened.
Although I was in my full winter gear sat up in the bobber stand in May. Yeah, scarves, hats, a lot.
I did notice you had a fair bit of clobber on when I made my way up to you, and there's me in just my Luton shirt with my biased Luton shirt on, making my way up to you. Them steps are bloody slippy in the rain, let me tell you. I thought we started the game really well, Mark. I thought we would, and we was like Luton back before all these injuries happened. We were on the front foot. We got after them. I mean, we had that one, didn't we, where Chong nearly got to the ball before Pickford in the first sort of minute or two, and I could feel that it was going to be a good night, but we just couldn't get our noses in front.
I think the build up, the support and the reaction that we gave the players in the warm up. And then just the atmosphere, and then getting on the front foot, we just felt it was like Sunderland, that we're just all building up to a win really. And I was in the Kenilworth shouting for a penalty when Pickford came charging out, wondering why there was no VAR, but they were obviously saving it for later. But no, it was we were right on the front foot from the first minute, and we were at them, and we just weren't giving them space to breathe, and we're just trying to suck the ball in.
Yeah, that's the quickest Pickford moved all night. That was when he got out of the way of Chong, that's for sure. I mean, I suppose we should say the first big thing of the night was Elijah was on the starting team sheet. You know, we knew he was going to be. It was the thumbnail to the preview. We've run out of wiggle room for not playing Elijah from the start now, and he'll play from the start throughout the rest of the season. Unfortunately, there was no Chio. We kind of hoped that there would be. As it turned out, we didn't really miss him too much in terms of the fact that Fred was okay down that side. But having Elijah back, I mean, we could see it. We saw it in that first half alone, just how much we've missed him. Not just his goals, his pressing. I mean, he didn't give Branthwaite, who I have to say is a Rolls Royce of a defender, or Tarkowski, who's the exact opposite, a moment's peace. But also he heads out set pieces as well, doesn't he, against a team that, you know, tall and aggressive. Just having him back for these last 2 games, it gives us a chance of getting the results we need.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we talked about in the preview podcast. I mean, his pressing was immediate, wasn't it? And you saw that there weren't the spaces, the defenders weren't being given the time to play it about. The atmosphere helped as well, and you know, we called for that, and I thought the atmosphere was spot on from the beginning as well. Even before the beginning, and before that light show, the crowd were well up for it. So. I think that was a bonus as well, but the team played like it. They played like it mattered and meant something, and there was just an extra couple of % on them that I don't think you can just say it's down to Elijah, but the fact that he was on the team sheet lifts it again. And then he goes and gets the goal, obviously, which is an incredible forwards goal, but it's all his other play. The fact that he also managed to play 80 minutes was pretty damn impressive as well. So, I mean, I'm sure he'd have been gutted as much as we are that he weren't playing, because he was on fire when he got that injury. And, you know, I spoke to him that game. I saw him in the corridors of Kenilworth Road when I was going to the mix zone, and he said, no, it won't be long. And it turns out it was. So, great to have him back, and good that he's got double figures as well.
Yeah, we'll come on to that shortly. But the game turned, as you alluded to earlier, Mark, with VAR. It reared its ugly head again. I mean, for us in the Kenilworth end, a corner comes over, it gets headed away. There's seemingly nothing doing. And then all of a sudden, you know, the ball goes out for a throw-in and play stopped. And then you're kind of like, you know, something must have happened in there. Then the referee goes over to the screen. He's there for a good 2 minutes looking at it, and I've seen it back now, having been criticised for not giving my opinion on it on Friday night when I'm 100 yards away from the incident and never even saw it happen. That's how far away from the ball it was.
How very dare you?
Well, indeed, yeah.
You're so biased, to tell you that.
I am. Having seen it back, I've no problem with it being a foul, but I do have a few problems with it. The first problem is, even if he's not fouled, he's not getting anywhere near the ball. That's my first problem. The second problem I have with it is this: I don't expect consistency from VAR, because these are human beings, different human beings that are activating it. Where I do expect consistency is from the same person doing it. So if we think back to the Fulham away game much earlier in the season, this incident happened at the back post then, when Harrison Reed literally rugby tackled Carlton Morris, who was going to get the ball. He was going to put it in that same set piece that we saw at Everton, at home to Aston Villa, and we've seen it countless times since. This is the same VAR person. Nothing doing that afternoon, yet this time he gets involved. He also refereed the game at Wolves last week, where Carlton Morris was put in a headlock and thrown over Kilman's shoulder. Absolutely nothing doing there either. Yet here he decides to get involved, and that's where I have the big issue with it. I'm not against it being a foul, but it didn't impact the game. And how can that be a foul and the one at Fulham not be a foul when it's the same person adjudicating it? It just, Mengi's made an absolute cock up, getting in his way and throwing him to the floor and everything. But the consistency of it reeks, or lack of it reeks.
Yeah, and there was also another VAR a few minutes before that for a tackle in the box, and that, once again, the play went on, and apparently that was what they deemed to call a slight VAR, whatever that means, and it doesn't, which means it doesn't go to the screen. But I think the other consistencies you've seen in recent weeks, that they make decisions and they basically say, right, we're going to stick with the on-field decision. Well, the on-field decision, the referee was in the box, it was a corner, he didn't see anything, he let play go on. So then as soon as they went to the screen, I just knew. I hadn't, like you, I was in the Kenworth, I couldn't see exactly what happened, but I knew that as soon as they went to the screen, there's only going to be one decision. But like I said, my big thing is, we like to stick with the on-field decision, and the referee couldn't have been any closer to it, and he didn't think it was a foul.
Yeah, I'm no fan of Tim Robinson as a referee after that time at West Brom a few seasons ago where Johnston wiped out Clark and he didn't even stop the game for it.
Yeah.
I'm no fan of him as a referee. However, I thought he refereed the game the other night really, really well, to be fair to him. This isn't him who's made this decision. It's him who's made the decision in the end, but it's not him who's been, he's been told to go over to VAR. There was an incident, wasn't there, a couple of minutes earlier where Mengi might have trodden on McNeil's foot, but the way McNeil threw himself to the floor, I'm sorry, he trod on your foot, mate. He didn't trip you over or anything.
You mean the penalty incident? The
penalty incident. It's not a penalty for me.
No, it is for me. It is. I thought it at the time, and I've seen it back since, and I think it is a penalty.
Not when you go down like that.
No, it's not. But that's not the rules of it. It's the contact.
But spin it round. 2 weeks ago, Ashley Young kicks the bottom of Gio Reyna's foot when they play Notts Forest. Gio Reyna goes down again. The kick of the blow at the bottom of the foot doesn't make him go down in that way, and no penalties. So, and they're quite happy for it not to be a penalty then. So they can't claim that that's not a penalty, and I didn't think that was a penalty either, and then claim that this one is. Yes, he catches a little bit of his foot, but that does not send him sprawling down like he's just collapsed in a ballet.
No, I agree. I understand the point, but that's not the rule, is it? That's not the law. So
no, I think it is. I think these days they're trying to make it consequential contact, isn't it? And if you just happen, if it was the foot that he was about to shoot with, then fair, or the foot that he was about to take the next stride with, then fair enough. But it's not. He can still make his next move. He's chosen to fall flat on his face, and I don't want penalties given for that. It's exactly the same thing as I called Chong out for at Brentford. I just don't think they're fouls. You're allowed to touch people. You're running at 90 mile an hour. You're not running 90 mile an hour, but you're running at a significant speed. You can't be looking at where he might put his foot, where I can put my foot. There wasn't enough for me. But there was for the one that you gave. But like I say, Branthwaite's never getting anywhere near the ball.
Yeah, I mean, it was stupid. It was daft in the extreme. He had a pretty ropey first 20 minutes, Tedden, because there was that incident that we've just debated and not come to a general consensus over, which is fair enough.
You just don't want to be biased.
Well, just trying to offer up some other perspective. That's what I'm doing. I did. I genuinely, I said in the instant rematch, instant reaction. Sorry, I thought it was a penalty, and I've not changed my mind on it. I haven't seen it numerous times, but there was that incident. Then he goes and wrestles him to the ground, clear penalty, which they get. And there was obviously the one he nearly scores an own goal, but for Thomas Kaminski. He's been outstanding this season, and if there's a Young Player of the Year award, then it's going to go to him as far as I'm concerned, if I got to make the decisions. But yeah, he didn't have a particularly good first half of the first half.
No, he didn't. So Calvert-Lewin scores this much debated penalty, puts it straight down the middle, just scores it as well. Kaminski gets a foot to it, but couldn't quite keep it out. But then from there onwards, it was like the switch flicked, because the Town were absolutely relentless for the rest of that first half. It was important that we got back into the game as early as we did, because you just knew that the time wasting was going to... I mean, Pickford was doing it from the start anyway. You knew it was only going to get worse. And the goal really... I said it on the instant reaction. It was a reminder of everything we've missed. Beautiful ball from Sambi, inch perfect ball. Young can't get to it. Elijah swats him out of the way, brings it down, and then volleys it in. And if we'd had them two players fit, we wouldn't be in this position.
No, and just going back to after Everton scored, fair play to everyone, because the minute they kicked off again, the noise levels went up again, and just everyone was on it. But yeah, I mean, Elijah, it's, as with everything he brings to the team, his presence as well is just massive, and he also complements Carlton, that he gives Carlton. Carlton's not having to do the work up there on his own, and his presence, I mean, to win the header and his touch to set up the goal was just, it's just what we've been missing, and what a ball from Sambi. It was just like on the mark, won the header, and in one movement. And just the nature of VAR is I was waiting for a VAR check for something. It's just
That's the thing for me as well. I was going to bring it up if you didn't, because I thought at the time it's ruined celebrating goals, isn't it? It really has, because that was a massive goal at the time. And Elijah, I know he's a cool customer, but I think he would have gone a bit more bonkers if he'd have thought, well, that's fine, that goal will be given. But we've got this system now where the slightest bit of contact like that, and even though it was a legitimate goal, he's probably got in the back of his mind, well, am I going to get pulled up for this? And it's ruined like the main joy of football, which is celebrating.
Yeah, but you should have known from 2 weeks ago that the VAR doesn't recognise Ashley Young on the football pitch, so it'd have been absolutely fine. No need to worry. Ashley Young went off twice on Friday night.
He did, yeah, got subbed off twice. Yeah.
Fair play to the boy.
I mean, he didn't, by the way, just in case anyone we get accused of anything there.
I mean, those are the people that comment on this podcast from an Everton persuasion who don't actually go to football matches. The announcer announced that he went off when Decore went off. One scummer to another, who really cares, you know? But yeah, how did we not go in ahead at half time? That Carlton header was brilliant. It looped it over the keeper. I thought it was going in anyway. But the only criticism you could have on the night of Tahith Chong, just throw yourself, the kitchen sink, the swimming pool and everything at it. You all end up in the back of the net with the ball. But Godfrey, to be fair, he's in the right place at the right time to head it away, isn't he?
He is. I'm not sure that's going in, you know. I don't think
the other post is the one I sit behind, but it looked like it was going in from where I was sat.
For me, I don't think it's going in. I mean, he has to make the clearance, but I think that at best probably hits the post, but probably just goes a little bit wide. I didn't think much of it at the time. I've seen the replay, and I'm not sure it's the big chance anyone's making out. But then again, maybe he should be hitting the target. There's that argument.
There is. I've given him the benefit of the doubt. I thought he did hit the target, but if he didn't, then you're absolutely right. He should do. Second half, though, Mark, it was a bit weird, wasn't it? Because they offered nothing in that second half, yet they almost scored when Harrison's shot flew up off of Gabe Osho. He would have been the most unlucky person in the world if that had nestled in the top corner. Credit to Thomas Kaminski for reacting like he did. And then they had the Calvert-Lewin header again out of nothing. I mean, someone's clocked me having a right dig at the lino on Facebook, and I did have a right dig at the lino because the ball literally goes over his head as it curled back into play, and he still kept his flag down, and I was screwing. But
as in he kicked it out of play?
Oh yeah, the long ball went miles out of play, literally over the linesman's head, and curled back in, and then the cross comes over and Calvert-Lewin's header. But Kaminski's reaction is absolutely brilliant.
And I would say that's probably, of all the games this season, that's probably the least amount of work that Kaminski's had to do in a game. We were dominating that much in the sense that he made a couple of brilliant saves, but generally he didn't have a lot. He didn't have a lot to do in the game. And just second half, I just felt we just couldn't get that head of steam and get that momentum and create those clear-cut chances. And then sort of the last 10 minutes, then it was like just literally got everyone on, got Luke Berry on, got Woodrow on, and just chucking everything forward. But just felt like the second half, we just tried to get some momentum and get something to happen.
Yeah, it did turn into a bit of the Alamo sort of for the last 10 or 15 minutes or so. I mean, I expected Kaminski to be worked quite a lot because all I was told on the comments of the preview episode was how Everton are this open play machine that are unbelievable in open play. They don't just score set piece goals. Hello, 50% set piece goals. And your goal was a set piece. But no, lo and behold, they offered absolutely nothing from open play, like we said they wouldn't do. All of their threats come from set pieces or crosses. And we dealt with them, apart from that one that they got the penalty from, we dealt with them absolutely fine. Most of them were cleared long before they got to any sort of danger area. And then it was like 15 minutes to go, we just flicked the switch and if we're going down swinging, and we swung and we kept on swinging. And how that ball didn't go in the back of the net in that last 15 minutes, I have no idea. I've already said Branthwaite looks $1 million of a defender, and he's got 2 blocks. He didn't know anything about the first one from Luke Berry, but he does about the second one from Andros Townsend. And you're talking inches, aren't you? And we've got ourselves a 2-1 win, and we're right smack bang in the battle again.
Yeah, it was so frustrating. I mean, when he's had a header as well, which was never really going to go in, particularly against the England goalkeeper, but he got it on target.
Sure, that one was on target.
I'm sure that one's on target. Yeah. And then the overhead kick. I mean, it's almost point blank range, isn't it? I suppose if you're going to big up Branthwaite, then it's positioning. I mean, did not know nothing. You can't know anything about that. Hit him and goes out. But the second one is a decent enough block, isn't it? But
is that on target?
That was on target. That was definitely on target. Yeah, it's just so frustrating because they threw everything at them. I suppose that's kind of the difference in it, because Everton didn't really offer anything, but probably had the best chances, the best 2 chances, you could say. But you can't fault the effort from that last 10 minutes, just going and going and going. But the whole game was like that. They had a couple of spells where maybe after sort of 20 minutes, I thought, well, they might have weathered the storm a little bit here, but then Luton went again, and that was good. And when you get to, 6 minutes of added time, and they're piling on the pressure, I thought that something's got to give here, because they've played so well and they were getting balls into the box and stuff. But they are a very big side, Everton. But then again, you've got, you didn't have Elijah on at the time, but Luton have got big players that can affect things there, and obviously got late goal at Goodison as well. So yeah, it was the frustrating one for me was that it just didn't allow the last corner kick. And I know some people said, but he only gave 6 minutes, but it's a minimum of 6 minutes, isn't it? And I don't know about you, I'm probably as close to it as you were, because you're in the Kenilworth Road and I'm down the other towards that end on the Bobber stand. I just didn't hear the final whistle, and then suddenly it was over, and it was a bit of a shock, that, because you want one last corner to have a go at it, but it wasn't to be. So it just felt like a really frustrating one, that the performance was back to the levels of the Luton that had started to get to grips with the Premier League just in January. Then injury kicked in, and it wasn't like that. Just the result didn't come, and I think we all knew really in our heart of hearts that the next day that Sheffield United weren't going to offer up anything that gave us any hope there. So, but then again, the other results have played, or maybe results and performances have given us a little bit of hope. It's a sliver, it's a tiny sliver, but you got to grab onto it.
Well, I mean, it's fitting that we're recording this podcast on Sunday night, which is the 34th anniversary of the true great escape at the baseball ground in 1990, when Tim Breaker let rip from God knows how far out and beat Peter Shilton, and the rest is history. There is also 6 years to today that we had that brilliant day at Notts County as well, celebrating the end of the League Two promotion season.
That Breaker one was in the reissue shirts they've just got in the new club shop, haven't they? They're really nice shirts from 1990, the orange one and the blue one. The blue one was what they were wearing that day. So if there's some omens, I don't know.
Can we wear it at West Ham?
Yeah, exactly. It's Umbro, after all.
Yeah.
Come on, Umbro. Give us a special dispensation.
Slap Utilita on the front of it, and let's
put Tim Breaker on the back of everyone's shirt instead of their own names.
And if they can stick Peter Shilton in goal, as he is now, not as he was then so much the better. Not much has happened in the 6 years since that Notts County afternoon, has it really?
No, that's the thing. I keep seeing these videos on social media about League One promotion, Conference promotion, League Two promotion, and it'll be a few weeks yet before we have the anniversary of the Championship one, and things could be done and dusted there. But it does kind of put it in perspective about what's really happened, doesn't it? And the joys that's gone on. But we've had this perspective the whole way through. We've got clever people on the comments going, Luton Town going down, and you're like, yeah, maybe, but we knew this was the risks, and it ain't going to be the worst thing that's ever happened to us.
Nope, and we'll still be in business this time next year. Sponsors gave man of the match to Ross Barkley. James and I didn't agree. Did you agree?
I was shocked. I mean, my man of the match was Tahith Chong. I mean, I would say that's his best game in a Luton shirt. He just must have had, the energy levels were just off the scale. And I remember, like, the first half, he just picked the ball up and he kept running, went down into the corner of the Oak Road, and no one was coming with him. And his energy levels, he was like a constant threat. And as you know, defenders don't like people running at them, and I think he had them running scared. But yeah, he was just absolutely immense. He was at the centre of everything good that we were trying to create. It was just such a good performance.
Yeah, I thought he was amazing, actually. For me, Tahith Chong has proved and made himself into a Premier League player. And if it happens to be that we drop down and he goes into the Championship, he could rip that division apart, playing the way he's been playing. He's had experience of it as well, hasn't he? But I think certainly since the turn of the year, Tahith Chong has been an outstanding footballer for Luton Town.
7 dribbles on the night, the most of anyone. 4 tackles, again, the most of anyone. 19 duels, again, the most of anyone. 24 times put the opposition under pressure, and 13 passes in the final third. Only 2 men had more than Tahith Chong on that occasion. Absolutely brilliant performance. Sky clearly noticed that he was the best player on the pitch, even if the sponsors wanted to meet Ross Barkley. Not that he was necessarily bad, Ross Barkley, but we just have such high expectations of him, and he wasn't at those, was he? Of the 2 midfielders, you'd say Sambi was better than Ross Barkley.
Yeah, absolutely, and that isn't a slight on him at all. He played it. He was good and he was solid, but Tahith Chong was the driving force for that entire game, and he's fearless running at people, taking them on, taking whacks as well. You've got to be able to get up after those, and he did, and he kept going. I thought he's been I think I've highlighted him quite a lot in these podcasts for the last couple of months, and I think he deserves the credit, because if you think back to the beginning of the season, we were having constant debates about whether he should start, because whenever he did start, he didn't live up to the hype, and then he got dropped back down to the bench, and now he's a nailed-on starter for me, and that's a credit to everything that he's taken on board. I mean, Rob Edwards spoke afterwards about that he's taken on information and learned why he was that in and out player that was having to bide a lot of his time on the bench. And yeah, it's full credit to him, because we all know he's got the talent. We saw it when he ripped Luton apart for Birmingham, but he's living up to that sort of that player that he was on that day now.
Took a load of whacks, gave one out as well, didn't he? Right in front of you.
Yeah.
Had a right corker. That was, deserves yellow card, that one.
Absolutely.
I don't think anyone's got any complaints about that one, to be fair. He saw the amount of space that was in behind him and said, "To hell am I chasing you back, sunshine?" Whack. Or it was, "You've done this to me plenty of times. Have a taste of your own medicine," sort of thing. Shall we hear from Tahith Chong?
Yes.
I think from the start of the game and everything, we really wanted the 3 points. Really, you can see at the end they're really pushing, get to the 3 points. Like I said, we didn't lose, but obviously we wanted the 3 points. We huffed and puffed really and tried to get the winner at the end. I think they're like clearing it off the line, off his shin, or unfortunately, really, the boys gave everything. Really, everyone, players coming on as well, making an impact. But yeah, we was really pushing for the 3 points. Really, we got 2 cup finals coming up, and looking forward to that. And like I said, we really must get something from those games. Really.
Chongi absolutely brilliant on Friday night, and if he can produce that kind of performance in those last 2 games, he'll give us a right good chance. Elijah Adebayo, 10 goals now. He'd have had 10 goals a lot earlier than what he's got 10 goals had he not been injured. Fully deserves though, and I think I saw somewhere they're the first debutant front pair to get 10 goals in a season since Lacazette and someone else at Arsenal 7 years ago. We caught up with the goal scorer after the game on Friday night.
We knew what game we was coming into today. We knew it was going to be physical. We knew that we were going to have to do the basics well and try and match them all over the pitch, which I think we did for large spells of the game. It was just about then when we got the opportunities, taking them, and on another day, Bez's chance goes in or Andrew's chance goes in, and we go away with 3 points. But we'll take the point today and move on. We find ourselves in this position now, and we've got 2 games to give 110% and make sure that we're on the right side of that dotted line. Yeah, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard, and the boys know that. But we trust each other in there. We back each other. The gaffer backs us. We back the gaffer and his staff. And there's some trust throughout not only this squad but through the whole club. And we just want to make sure that we give the fans what they've deserved for being behind us the whole season.
Yep, so good to have Eli back, and hopefully he's got some more goals in him in those last 2 games. That's going to be really, really important. One person left to hear from, and that's the man who's so nearly masterminded a victory, a 3rd victory of the season over Everton, no less, and that is the gaffer, Rob Edwards. Here's what he had to say to the press after the game.
We wanted to win. We threw everything at it. We tried. I know I always say it, you can't guarantee the wins or the draws, can't guarantee the result, but we can guarantee how hard you work, the performance, trying to do the right things. We did all of that. We stood up to Everton's physicality really well, their running power. I thought we did really well, and then we were the team obviously that was pushing right towards the end, and we could have been having a different conversation now. You know, if the ball would have gone once, you know, a couple of inches, we're talking, aren't we? You know, a couple of big blocks that they made, but now in the end the draw wasn't what we wanted. We went 1-0 down in difficult circumstances on a huge occasion, but we came back. We showed real quality, tried to do all the right things, as I say, and look, we don't know as we stand, as I'm talking to you right now. We're still in the mix, aren't we? We don't know if other things are out of control now, and that's obvious. But we'll keep going.
Yep, obviously Rob was talking Friday before the Nottingham Forest Sheffield United game on Saturday, and Mark, that game, another one that gave us hope when Sheffield United took the lead, but Forest turned it round. So they're now 3 points ahead. It's effectively 4 with goal difference, and it's pretty much left us needing to win the last 2 in order to have any chance of staying up.
Yeah, and like you said, it gave us hope. Newcastle scored, Burnley were losing, and Sheffield United were winning, and you heard about the hatful of chances that they were creating, and you thought, this could work in our favour, but unfortunately you don't concede 97 goals for no reason at all. So they felt the need to make it around 100 and more, basically. And yeah, it's just disappointing that we're now in a situation where we have to win at West Ham. The only thing going for us is that Chelsea are in great form, scored another 5 today, and hopefully they'll continue that form at Forest. And then we can be level with a win at West Ham.
We can, yep. Chelsea suddenly caught fire, haven't they? And if they can do that for one more game, that would be mighty, mighty handy. How many times can you let Callum Hudson-Odoi come in on his right foot and curl it in the top corner before thinking maybe we might be better off showing him down the other side? And then just for good measure, the bloke got sent off as well. I mean, of all the useless performances, I'm not even going to pronounce his name. I couldn't pronounce it when we played against him. But terrible, terrible, terrible. Not the afternoon that we wanted on Saturday, that is for sure. But as I alluded to at the start of this podcast, we're not done yet. The voices are getting sort of warmed up. There's no songs being sung just yet by those that are ready to finish us off. But yeah, it's a tough way back from here.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the main thing is that even though we're talking about an improved performance, it wasn't the result you wanted, and that's really the main thing, isn't it? You need to somehow pick up 2 wins when it's just been the one in such a very long time, 14 games now, isn't it? So, you know, the form book and all the, you know, all your experience in watching football would tell you that that's not possible. But while there's a chance, you've got to grab hold of it. And thankfully, well, at least as we stand now, West Ham are taking a bit of a beating at the moment, and they are not on for Europe, which they were a few weeks back. So maybe that could work in a favour. But, you know, they're a top they're a top 10 side in this Premier League, and they've got some very good players. So going there to win is easier said than done, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But if we can play like we did on Friday night with that Luton style, that Luton sort of energy that we did, then you just don't know in this league. This league's been crazy all season. Let's just hope it's got 2 more crazy weeks left in it, and we can still live to tell the tale. We're getting into the areas where we've not got away from spots as bad as this one. We're still not quite there yet. We still have escaped worse situations than this, but we're getting into the sort of greatest of great escape sort of categories. But as I say, we're not there yet, and everyone wrote us off in the Championship, and we went to Hull and we won. What's Kazenga Luwa doing Saturday? Can you come to the London Stadium with us, Kazenga? And then, of course, everyone knows what happened last day of that season. So we're not down yet, as bleak as it looks, and it may well happen. It hasn't happened yet, and well, when you consider where everyone thought we would be right at the start of the season, to still be alive with 2 games to go, that in itself is a brilliant effort. And now we just need 2 more truly brilliant efforts on the pitch and off the pitch to see if we can give ourselves a chance. Looks like Forest might struggle for many more points. So if we can pick these 6 points up, you just don't know. And we'll see how it goes. That's pretty much it for this episode of the podcast. I've waded through the countless Everton comments in the preview podcast, and no one predicted 1-1, which is probably understandably so. Most Luton fans were predicting Luton to win. Most Everton fans stupidly were predicting Everton to win. And, well, we met in the middle, didn't we, with a 1-1 draw. Leaves me with 2 games to catch up with Jimbo in the prediction stand-ins. But if Luton can pick up 2 wins, I can still pick up 2 wins, and I'll be trying to do that. Thanks very much for your thoughts, James, and you, Mark. Really enjoyed having you on this episode, and of course you'll be with us for the West Ham preview as well, which will come out later in the week. Thanks to everyone of a Luton persuasion who's commented on the podcasts in the last week or so. Really appreciate your support as always. Thanks to the Hightown Club for staging our studio, to Sean Grant and the Wolfgang for our intro music, and to Ed Smith Creative for all the designs that you see on set. Until next time, which will be a preview of, well, quite simply, do or die at the London Stadium. Come on, you Atters.
Can you believe it? We are Premier League! Yes!
I love this town. I love this town. I love this town. You know what I love about this town is actually you. Everyone in it has got these massive souls.
We're Luton people. And